But I mean, we don't ever hardly take time to like pause and take stock of like what we already had, like what we do have going for us. So I don't know. It's just like crazy how we have so much like in front of us, but we just refuse to see it or acknowledge it because we're so focused on like the next thing or like what we think that we need. Oh, oh, what's up? I'm Empathetic Chicken, and this is gonna be another collective reading. I already pulled out all the cards. Sorry, Sid's getting on it today. But anywho, I'm gonna just stick with my old little spread where I did the obstacle to goal and then like some guidance. And so for our obstacle, we got comfort, peace, kisses, and feel. This card threw me off. I was like, I don't know about them kisses, so I had to pull another one, and I got feel, and I was like, okay, I kind of get it now. Like, I just got this deck. It's the Diaphonous, I hope I said it right, Diaphonous Oracle, and it's really nice. I'm enjoying it so far. It's actually like the first like actual reading I've done, but I pulled like some little cards for questions of my own and used it that way. So, anywho, back to the business. What am I saying? Yes, our goal is sharing rage and pause. And then for our guidance, we got perspective, fragile, and guide. And then for our overall theme, we got allowing. And then I just looked at all the other cards too. I was like, on the bottom, I was like, okay, I'll take them too. Transition, effort, and hope. I really love this card. Like, the colors on it are like pretty. Alright, so I feel like I'm having a hard time getting started here. My little energy ain't where it should be. But I'm good though. I'm gonna push through. So what I'm getting, especially with these two cards, comfort and peace, for our obstacle, is that maybe we don't feel comfortable. Maybe we don't feel comfortable in our own skin at this time. Like, we're not at peace with ourselves. And this whole like kisses card, like, I don't know, I personally like cringed when I saw it. So it's just like, ugh, like, I don't know, it's probably just like a self-hate thing that I do, but I don't know how to accept affection. So I was just like, get that out of here. And that's another reason I pulled this little card. So like, I think when we like reject ourselves, we like reject love too. So I don't know. I feel like we're dealing with like some little self-neglect type stuff, or at least me as part of the collective is currently dealing with that. I don't know if anybody else is, but I am. So yeah, our goal was sharing. I don't know if I'm gonna post this because I ain't feeling the flow, but sharing, pause, and rage. Whew. Yeah, I think our goal is to feel like we're enough. like with this whole sharing, like they all kind of chilling around the water hole. Like that one ain't even paying attention. He's just looking over somewhere else because he knows like there's gonna be enough. Like nobody here is like greedy. It's like there's plenty to go around. Like there's enough. So that's not like really. This isn't really like how I intended this card, the meaning of the card to be like. But in this case, like I feel like it applies as more so like feeling like we're enough and we have enough, like our whatever, like however we show up, it's enough. Like, I don't know, I'm just looking at how this little monster thing is looking at this little flower and he's like admiring it. It's like, it's small, it's different than him, but it's like admirable, you know, it's still something to be like valued and appreciated, like. So I think like we need to stop and like learn to appreciate our value, like what we bring to the table. Like, you know, we're one of these little 4 chickens. Like they all kind of contribute their own presence to the watering hole or whatever. And this rage card, I don't know about this rage. I guess like it kind of like makes us mad when we don't feel like we're good enough. And like we have to be on guard and just kind of like worry about somebody else like getting what's ours because we're not good enough, or what we feel like is ours. Like kind of brings up some feelings in there, like, ugh, why ain't I good enough to have this? Or like, you know, excuse me, I'm sorry. Oh. Yeah, I don't know. So maybe like we should acknowledge like the anger that we feel over not feeling like we're good enough. Like take time to pause and feel the little feelings underneath. Because it looks like we're not comfortable feeling the stuff. Feeling the, the kisses and the affection. We're not at peace with those kind of things. Yeah, so I'm automatically like noticing like a difference between these 2 cards. Like you see how in this one, the little monster's like a creature, whatever you want to call it. He's just kind of like not looking at the flower. He's kind of like reserved. He's just like I ain't gonna look at that. I mean he's peaceful, like you know, but in this one, it's like he actually is looking at the flower and like appreciating it for what it has to offer, you know? This is something I noticed. I don't know. Pointing it out there. Putting it out there. Excuse me. I had a soda water before this and now I'm burping. Excuse me. Yeah. Dang. Should start doing these when I'm not tired from work. Yeah, so our guidance is perspective, fragile, and guide. So I don't know, I'm getting it like, for one, like when I see perspective and fragile together, it kind of makes me feel like, or I mean, it makes me think about how our perspective is kind of fragile, like it's debatable. Like we can choose how we perceive things, and like one perception isn't necessarily like the correct one, it's just like the chosen one. So that can be used to our benefit, like if we're willing to like acknowledge how we have that skill or that power or whatever. So maybe a new perspective is needed on you. Like, maybe you're not that bad. Maybe you already have, like, plenty. Like, what you got is worth sharing. Like, don't gotta be bad about, like, what you feel like you don't have, because if you take a minute to pause, you'll see the beauty of you, you know? Like, just take a minute to see it. Be willing to, like, go there. Because, I mean, it can be uncomfortable, like, to face yourself in all your, like, rage and glory. Like, you gotta accept, like, all of you. And it's not necessarily always pretty. But that perspective thing comes in. Woo! Where you could be like, okay, it was just me, I'm sorry. I scared you. You can sleep. Might not necessarily want to, like, see the less pretty parts of ourselves, but I mean, they're there regardless. But the point is, they're not, like, the only part of us. Like, it doesn't have to be, like, the focus or whatever. Oh, excuse me. With this guide, like, I don't know, I feel like our perspective is, like, sort of our guide to feeling better, because it is, like, malleable. Is that a word? That's the word, right? It's like the beacon for, like, our experiences, like how we choose to perceive things dictates how we like our responses and how we see a situation, like, influences how we experience it, I think is what I'm saying. So because it's so fragile, it's like a nice little tool that we have. And like with this one, we got a little monster thing, like, drawing the chicken eyeball. So it's like, if you was the chicken eyeball, that kind of looks painful, having that pin in your eyeball. But you can be the creator. Like, you don't have to be the little eyeball getting poked in the eye. So yeah, it's all in how you choose to let your perspective guide you. I don't know, I'm also feeling like maybe if we have a hard time kind of self-soothing, or, like, switching the script so where we're not, like, so bad, because I have trouble with that sometimes. Like, we might need a guide, like somebody else to kind of help us see ourselves in a different light. Like, I'm not saying, like, look for external validation, because, I mean, I struggle with that too, always wanting somebody to validate me when I don't need it. I just think I need it. Like, I know better. But that don't mean you can't ask for help when you need it. Like, you feel a little fragile. Everybody needs a little help sometimes. And you might need, like, some different perspectives from other people to help guide you along towards, like, better self-acceptance and all. Yeah. And with this allowing card, it's just kind of like, I don't know, I kind of want to read it because I feel like I write better than I speak. So I'm going to just read this because I feel like it's kind of like a good example of where we're trying to get to, as far as how we think of ourselves. If I can find it. Dang, where's it at? Sorry. Okay. Sometimes one of the hardest things to do is resist imposing our expectations onto situations. We want to make sure we are in the right place, doing the right thing at the right time. Rarely do we ever stop to consider the implicit judgments attached to those ideas, or where they come from in the first place. We want so badly to belong, yet never recognize how clutching to the idea of wanting belong implies that we don't already. When observing our world, a perfect balance and flow seem to already exist, without much interference on our part. Ooh, I did not read that the best way. When observing our world, a perfect balance and flow seem to already exist, without much interference on our part. Difficulties mostly arise when we try to fight against that flow and don't accept the limitations of where we are. Worrying so much about specific outcomes can set us up for disappointments because the possibilities for success become narrowed. Sometimes there's more power and opportunity to be gained from simply letting go and trusting you're exactly where you're meant to be, doing things at your appropriate pace. What would happen is if instead of striving for a certain result, we just decided that we didn't have to try so hard to be what we already are. With that in mind, there is no urgency or failure. So yeah, we might be over here stressing about like, I ain't good enough, like, I don't have this or that. But I mean, you breathing, you living, so you obviously got something going for you. And I ain't saying it's always gonna feel hunky-dory, like, just cause you, like, got your basic needs or whatever, like, some people don't, you know, like, it's not, you know what I'm saying. If you're watching this video, I think you're okay. You have some sort of stability. So I ain't talking to, like, I can't speak to every situation, obviously. But, you know, we're always stressing about, like, oh, I need this thing, or, like, I need this person to make me feel this way, or when I have this, I'll be happy, or, you know, if I could just do this, I'd be good. I apologize for the yawning, jeez. But, I mean, we don't ever hardly take time to, like, pause and take stock of, like, what we already have, like, what we do have going for us. So, I don't know. It's just, like, crazy how we have so much, like, in front of us, but we just refuse to see it or acknowledge it because we're so focused on, like, the next thing or, like, what we think that we need, when, like, what we need is already here. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we're already good. We're just not, like, seeing it because we're confused, thinking that, like, we're supposed to be something else, like, for some reason. Just all these outside influences telling us, oh, I should be like this because they're like this. Like, I mean, we just use little things outside of us as, like, a guide when it doesn't have to be like that. We don't gotta be like nobody else. I'm surprised the comparison card didn't come out because I feel like it's relevant here. Yeah, with the transition card here too, like, I think, like, when we're in uncomfortable energy, it's natural to want to, like, get out of it as soon as possible. And so maybe that is why we're just, like, focused on the next thing. Like, okay, I need to get here, like, because I don't like where I'm at now. Like, I need to be different because this sucks. This hurts. Like, I don't want to feel this. But, I mean, I feel like there is, like, comfort in, like, the present if we're willing to, like, acknowledge it. Because a lot of the discomfort comes from, like, wanting to not be in the present. Like, or, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, when you're wanting something else, you're not being in the present because you're, like, focused on the future, or, like, you know, or when you're thinking about the past. It's like you're not able to be at peace because you're not being in the present. And, like, the truth about the present is just, like, peaceful. Because it just is. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if I'm making any sense. But yeah. Hello, Sid. Coming to say hello. Ooh, sorry. I shouldn't have looked at his butt. It was looking a little puckered. I'm okay. I'm sorry. Yeah, we got this hope card. Cats is making funny noises. Little Tom is snoring over there. Oh. Yeah, we got hope. So there's hope for us, man. People. You might just have to like put a little effort to like get our little mindset shifted to acknowledge what's in front of us. Yeah. This might be the shortest reading that I've done. Alright, I don't even know if it made any sense, but like the gist I feel is just like we gotta be comfortable with ourselves. And I think like maybe that's the avoidance of like being in the present, because it means we're with ourselves. Like, because we're not like with other people. Like, I don't know. I mean, sometimes we can still be present and be with other people, but it's like real presence is like when I feel like when you have less distractions or whatever. So I mean, you're really present when you're alone, is what I'm trying to say. I don't know where I was going with that, but anyway, I'm gonna just pull a little spirit animal message to close this out and hope that there was something in there that made some kind of sense. I don't know. I feel like it was short and not really helpful, but I always feel that way, so I'm gonna just shift a little perspective and just trust that there was something in there that was useful and worth saying. Allow it to be what it is, what it was. Ooh. Alright, what, spirit animal message that we need at this time can assist us. Koala spirit. Spirit has a plan. So we might not feel like there's a plan going on. We're just like impatient, like, oh my God, like I don't want to sit here. Like this is not working out. I don't have what I need. Like, this ain't it. I can't wait to get out of this. But the truth is, Spirit's got a plan, man. Alright, let me read this. Let's see it'll get up out the way. Man, I didn't bring my book. I'm gonna have to go get the book. I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back. Sorry. Okay. Koala spirit. Spirit has a plan. Okay, it says, catch my breath. Alright, in nature, the koala moves slowly through the branches of the eucalyptus tree, leisurely chewing the leaves, reminding us that life is not a race or competition. Chasing around after every distraction can keep us from recognizing that we have all we need and that Spirit will always be there with gifts to sustain us. You are being asked to trust that by moving slowly, with faith in the abundance that is everywhere, surrendering to a power greater than yourself, you will be able to experience the manifestation of your desire. As you take your time enjoying the riches available to you right now, sitting peacefully, you begin to radiate. God, I can't read. You begin to radiate the joy and abundance you seek. Spirit is here to help you discover happiness, pleasure, and contentment. All gifts that are yours now and in the future. Have faith. Dang, I'm out of shape. Excuse me. Have faith and trust in Spirit's plan for you and know that you are loved and cherished. Protection message. Are you feeling uneasy and mistrustful of the world? Have you been hiding in a safe spot, afraid to venture out because you're convinced that life and other people will disappoint you? Koala Spirit has appeared to let you know that your faith is misplaced. The present safety you seek is already passing away because all things are temporary and outer conditions are always changing. Find your safety by placing your faith and trust in Spirit, who will grow the abundance that is already yours. Perhaps you are acting slowly and overly cautiously because you lack faith that there is more for you out there than what you know. You may have boxed yourself into a safe place that has nothing else to give you and become so familiar with it that you've forgotten to explore. Are you feeling pessimistic and convinced there is nothing more out there for you? Koala Spirit reminds you that self-care is meant to replenish you so that you can venture out again in faith, trusting that there is no limit to the joy Spirit wants you to experience. Be good to yourself and reconnect with Spirit to reclaim your faith in things yet unseen. Yeah, so there's hope, my friends. There's hope. Just pay attention to what you already got, which I know is really hard because I've been struggling too. It's like I'm just mad. I'm just like, I don't want this. I want something else. Like, 'cause I don't like feeling this. I don't like transitions. They're painful. I'm sorry. Anywho, we got enough. We got enough to go around. We're fine.